You know that feeling, right? You've been really consistent with workouts, feeling good, feeling strong.
Yeah.
And then life just happens. Maybe work gets crazy or you get sick, whatever. And the routine just stops.
Totally. Weeks pass, maybe months even.
Exactly. And you look back and think, oh man, all that hard work just gone. Like starting from zero again. It's pretty demoralizing.
It really can be. That frustration is completely normal. But here's the interesting bit we're looking at today. Maybe it's not quite like starting from zero.
Okay.
Your body, it seems, has this way of, well, remembering the effort. We call it muscle memory, right? But it's more than just a handy phrase. There's some actual biology going on.
Right. Okay. So that's our mission for this deep dive then, to unpack the science behind this muscle memory thing based on some stuff we've been reading.
Exactly. We want to see what's really happening in the muscles because the source material suggests they're surprisingly good at, like, holding on to past gains.
Okay. So let's get into it. When you're training, lifting weights, whatever, your muscles grow. What's happening on a cellular level?
So inside your muscle fibers, you have these things called myonuclei. The text we looked at calls them tiny powerhouses, which is a pretty good description.
Tiny powerhouses. Yep.
Think of them as like little command centers or factories within the muscle cell. They're essential for making the proteins that actually build bigger, stronger muscles.
Got it. So more training, more muscle means you need more of these myonuclei powerhouses to manage it all.
Precisely. Your muscles actually add more nuclei as they adapt and grow. But here's the real kicker, the fascinating part.
Yeah.
Even if you stop training for a long time, those extra nuclei you gained, they don't necessarily just pack up and leave.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the source material is pretty emphatic about this. It says they can persist for months, maybe even years. It uses the word literally. They literally stick around.
Wow. So, okay, even if I'm on the sofa for 6 months, these little protein factories are still hanging out in my muscles from when I was training.
That seems to be the key finding. Yes, they remain. And that has a huge implication for when you decide to, get back into exercising.
Okay, I think I see where this is going.
Because you already have more of these nuclei than someone who's never trained before, your muscles are sort of primed. They can ramp up protein production and repair much faster.
Ah, so you can rebuild the muscle quicker than the first time around?
Exactly. The text puts it nicely. You bounce back faster.
That is genuinely encouraging. Seriously. Because it means all that past effort wasn't just like temporary. It left a real physical change.
A lasting change at the cellular level. It provides a biological advantage for regaining fitness.
But I mean, they can't stick around forever, can they? Is there a point where they do eventually fade away and you really are back at square one?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
And research is always evolving, right? But the current understanding suggests they're remarkably resilient, these nuclei. Very persistent.
So even after a pretty long break, you probably still have some of that advantage left over.
That seems likely, yes. Of course, other things contribute to muscle memory too, like neural pathways, but this nuclear retention is a big piece of the puzzle.
It definitely reframes those breaks, doesn't it? It's not a total reset. You've kind of banked some potential.
Exactly. You're not starting from scratch.
Okay.
The source actually frames it really positively. It says you're starting from experience.
I like that. Starting from experience. So for anyone listening who's maybe feeling a bit daunted about getting back into it, thinking it's this massive uphill battle all over again, the science actually offers some hope. Your body remembers.
It really does. This persistence of myonuclei gives you a genuine head start. Your muscles have laid down a foundation.
Okay, so quick summary then. Train hard, muscles grow, gain more nuclei, tiny powerhouses. Stop training, nuclei mostly stick around for potentially months or years. Start training again.
And those retained nuclei help you rebuild muscle faster than if you were a complete beginner. You bounce back quicker.
You're not starting over, you're building on what's already there. That's the core message.
Absolutely. Which, leads to a final thought, perhaps.
Go on.
How might knowing this actually change how you feel about taking necessary breaks? Maybe there's less need for anxiety about losing everything, knowing this underlying advantage persists.
That's a really good point. It makes you think about past training not just as something you did, but as an investment that keeps paying dividends, even after a pause. A much more optimistic way to look at getting back on track.